And there I was, suddenly strapped into this two-seater aircraft, taxiing along at the world's largest air show in the United States we call Oshkosh, in the new Sonex Highwing. Mark Schaible gives us a complete walk around and talks about their now flying prototype we've all been waiting for. So out here at the Sonex yearly homecoming, or I like to say the open house party.
Yeah.
Something you guys have been watching for a long time in social, because he's been doing a great job of sharing with us. But it is here, again, we got boots on the ground. It is in the flesh. It is here. It is not only here, but flying. So I'll talk to Mark. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
For a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, thank you.
Clean sheet design.
Yeah.
And so far, your testing just recently, your numbers are nearly spot on. So
yeah.
Let's talk about just for a second, because that's huge to do a clean sheet and project something and it actually come to fruition.
Yeah, you know, I mean, yes, it's a clean sheet design, but it derives a lot from the Sonex. So we did have a lot of knowns going in. So it was a matter of just predicting the effect of the changes that we were making, knowing it's going to, you know, it's a little bit bigger of an airplane, knowing it wouldn't be quite as fast with the same horsepower, but you know, we did a good job. Some of it was maybe luck that it landed right where we wanted it to be.
Sure.
But
well, I mean, you did more than move the wing from low to high.
Yes, it was a little
more involved
than that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, and it came together really well. You were here last year seeing how we had the fuselage on the gear for people to try the airplane on, and you know, most of the work since then, the really time-consuming part of a build, like any build, is the last 10%. Sure.
Right?
So all of your engine installation, avionics, wiring, you know, it went very smoothly, but it takes time, and just doing all the tasks for the first time, you know, making the parts for the first time, and maybe having to recut a part because we didn't like how it fit.
Sure.
And those sorts of things are all part of the process.
So I usually ask this question to builders, so it's a little bit different asking a manufacturer.
Yeah.
But being this has been kind of a pet project slash, really it's going to be a game changer for you guys. Mm-hmm. What was the most probably enjoyable part of designing a clean sheet aircraft, and what was probably the most challenging part of building and designing your own aircraft?
I mean, from the design perspective, all of it's enjoyable, because that's what I love to do. And from the building perspective, you know, again, the first time cutting the parts and making the parts, the airplane went together really well. There were, you know, always, like I was saying, things that, it didn't fit quite how we wanted. Let's tweak this and recut that.
Sure.
Sometimes it's the funniest things that you wouldn't expect to be challenging. And just for whatever reason, you know, we have to change something or just change how we're doing it. You know, it's just like any builder. There's parts that are more enjoyable than others. You know, I wired most of the airplane. So I'll say wiring was maybe not my favorite. Yeah. But
did you see any smoke?
No, actually, and
or at least you kept it inside.
You know, you can hear us on the radio. We can hear you. There's no smoke. Everything's working. So I guess I did a good job. Nice. And of course, we had help from Dynon. Dave Weber from Dynon was here for I think he was here for 3 days. Okay. So he got us started in terms of populating the panel and getting you know, basically their harnesses put together and cut to length, and then I did all the powers and grounds and running wires out to all the accessories as far as the you know, the flap actuator, trim servo, you know, that sort of thing. Planning for lighting, which we'll do when we get the full span wing tips on. Okay. And then of course all the firewall
full span, forward. So this is going to get bigger still.
Yeah, so this is the aerobatic span.
Okay.
So basically this is the span you need to be at to do aerobatics with 2 people on board for the amount of moment on the wing. And then the full span will be 18 inches longer on each side.
Looks like you're off like a Sunday drive or something in this thing.
Yeah, big old yellow Sunday drive.
All right, well, it looks like I get to go for a taxi test. Well, we're actually moving the airplane over to the booth from Sonex. All right, set up here.
These are in a little bit different of a position than other airplanes. On.
We got a checklist even for taxiing.
Yeah. Wait for the Dynon to load.
Awesome. So big trek across the runway today in this, well, it's got, how many hours now, you think?
About 2.5.
Okay. Not even broken in yet.
No. Go fuel pump 1 on. Watch the fuel pressure. 2. Throttle set. Alright. Clear prop.
Nice.
Good oil pressure. That just kind of helps it from wiggling too much. Alright. That should be good for what we're doing. Thank you, sir. Thanks for riding with.
Well, that wasn't a flight, but that was still fun.
Yeah, still fun.
All right, well, can't taxi with the engine on the entire time, so the last 50 feet has to be by hand.
Warburg Island. Warburg L-17, flight 4, Farmland. And flight of 4 over final back report to Warburg Island.
So, how was the yellow convertible?
Do you guys need help?
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Spacious.
it's spacious.
It's like a big love seat.
Okay, great.
So Mark, let's dive right into like the obvious thing, right? Being a high wing and a strutless wing, a cantilever wing,
Yep.
changes things, and also you have a unique profile of the windshield. I want to say, I assume that the windshield was a bit of a challenge for you guys.
Actually, not that bad. So when when I was originally drawing up the airplane, you know, trying to figure out, okay, based on where the wing needed to be, wanting to retain the Sonex, you know, slope, if you will, to the profile. Well, okay, how are we going to do that intersection? And what I didn't want to do, I didn't want to have to cut the wing root down and bring it in like a tailwind would or a zenith, high wing zenith. I wanted to be able to keep the integrity in the D-tube section of the leading edge of the wing for the best structural performance. So I started to look at, well, you know, the Helio Courier is the most obvious example of doing a windshield intersection like this. And people ask me all the time, well, how did that, it's going to be draggy, there's intersection drag and things like this. And we didn't do any fancy, fluid dynamics or anything. We just went off of our instincts and we built it. It's in the prop wash. It's a very clean, efficient airplane to begin with, and we want, especially for a fairly short span airplane, we wanted some lift, and it worked out great. I mean, the airplane at max continuous RPM trues out at 160 miles an hour at 2,500 feet. So you can't complain about that. And we don't even have the right prop on it yet. So for the windshield, certainly there were some changes in our tooling. We had to basically make an extension onto our canopy oven to make it a little taller, build a shelf in there because we have to warm this up flat on basically a shelf that's lined with a welding blanket. And then we created a former that it just basically drapes onto, and then we have a padded frame that just sort of slides over it to hold it down while it cools. One of the things you'll notice on this airplane is that this being the first one, we probably made 2 windshields before we got this one and we were happy with it, is we do have to handle it hot. This windshield, unlike the Sonex canopy, is cut on our router to final shape because we have to have it, kind of in its shape when we form it. So we made some tabs on the ends here just to handle it when it's hot. So we have to experiment a little bit more on how to do that a little bit better without making some distortions here. So if you look closely, and I hate to point out flaws in an airplane that I built, but if you look closely, the sides here are a little wavy, and we'll get that ironed out as we refine the process for making these windshields. But by and large, it all went really smoothly and fit really nice just right out of the box.
Dynon Avionics at Dynon.com, offering everything from state-of-the-art glass cockpit options to advanced control modules that power and control your entire aircraft. Gratia Aero Group at GratiaAero.com, proudly representing these best-in-class brands for experimental general aviation. Sherwings, BD Aviation, and MW Fly. KFA, Kitplanes for Africa, engineered for adventure and built for the bush is their motto, offering several STOL-kit aircraft options like the Expedition, Safari, Bush Baby, and Explorer. Find them online at kitplanesforafrica.co.za. BravoFox at bravo-fox.com. The US Distributor for Blackshape Aircraft, providing sales, maintenance, spare parts, and repair services, located at the Sheridan Airport in Indiana. Visit us online at experimentalaircraftchannel.com for all things DIY aviation. And consider supporting us on our Patreon page to help us bring you more original aviation content. All right, so Mark, the other thing I know that Sonex has never done doors before, and now you had to clean sheet design a door.
Yeah. So some I'll call it mission requirements that I had for the door in the airplane based on what I want the airplane to do. We wanted it to be Sonex height off the ground, so that it's an easy airplane, like we showed you and talked about last year, to get in and out of. Especially if you have mobility issues. We wanted a nice deep door well, so it's easy to swing your feet into. I really wanted a forward hinging door instead of a gull wing because a gull wing is just, you have to duck even further to get under it. It is a relatively low wing. As you can see, I'm on one knee. It's not a big deal to get in and out, especially with the flaps up. So the door pretty much went as planned. Some stiffening, and when you're trying to do a sheet metal door as light as you can. So just trying to figure out how to stiffen it properly so that it isn't too flexible. The hinges, quite a bit of work went into the hinges and just kind of refining the angles of everything. These still aren't perfect. I'd like them to be a little closer to the fuselage. You can see we have a little weather stripping in there just as a gap seal for performance. But the next iteration of hinges that we do on the second prototype will be a little tighter to the fuselage when the door's closed. We did end up adding, and as you all know from our releases, we ended up adding, we had an issue with door popping open on the passenger side on the first flight. We did end up adding an additional, I'll call it a dog here, that goes and just locks the door closed to the aft portion of the door frame, and then we have one in the front as well. So with this additional one in here, the door is rock solid, works really well. Of course, like everything, we wanted to make it as light as possible, and we definitely achieved that. It's a very lightweight door. We found, just through shopping around, we found these Southco door handles that we really like. Obviously, they're flush and very low drag. You can lock it, so it's a nice system. And on the inside, we can attach a cable where we have our door handle.
Mark, the other thing new for Sonex is working with UL Power and having that as a power plant option. And how has that been? It looks like you've been able to maintain kind of the look, again, styling of the other Sonex, but yeah, what's it looking like so far?
It's gone extremely smoothly. You know, we've been making UL Power motor mounts for our customers for many years now, and you know, we've seen all manner of installations with cowling modifications and some not modified that much. Obviously, our goal was to modify the cowling as little as possible. We did move the cooling inlets out a little bit outboard because the engine is wider, and of course we added the oil cooler scoop there, and this is all hand modified. I mean, I modeled this up with modeling clay and glassed over it, but we'll be doing more in SolidWorks when we have more time and making a little bit nicer molds for them, and offering, you know, like a glass-on piece that you can graft onto the Sonex cowling for that. The engine's been performing really well. I honestly couldn't be happier. Cooling has been amazing. We've been with temperatures here in the mid-80s. The cylinder head temperatures have barely gotten over 300, usually not. The oil cooler is a more oil cooler dependent engine, which is what helps why the CHT stays so cool. Oil stays pretty good. I mean, we've gotten up into the yellow a couple of times, but when you throttle back, it comes right back down. So very good. You know, if anything, maybe we'll refine sort of the exit area, you know, maybe an internal baffle or something on the oil cooler. We'll fly it more and we'll see what it needs. But so far, I'm really happy. So the UL Power is 130 horsepower, 3,300 RPM, I believe. Correct. What is the horsepower range as a manufacturer you're stating that you want to have in this airframe? So I'm saying at this point, 100 horse and up. We're going to be doing, we do need a new prop. We have, we're a little bit under pitched on this prop, so we're going to get a couple more inches of pitch. So we'll actually see a little bit higher speeds with this airplane and cruise. But once we get the right prop on it, we're going to be doing reduced power testing to simulate, you know, Jabiru 3300, Aero V Turbo, even 80 horsepower Aero V, and just see what the numbers are, and we'll just see how it turns out. I think most people are going to want 100 horse or more, so Aero V Turbo and up. I wouldn't limit it at 130 horse because I know that there are people that are going to put, you know, 915s and 916s in the airplane. So, you know, there is sometimes a logical limit to how much power you want to put in the airplane, but I would say, you know, anything from the 912 on up in the Rotax line will be fine in the airplane and perform really well.
So what you're saying is the firewall is built to handle it. It's more of a nose or a weight issue.
Yeah, some of it's installation weight. You know, our target firewall forward, like our other airplanes, is 200 pounds. Is kind of a limit for CG. You know, in the case of things like Corvair installations, people have been very successful with the Sonex just by putting the battery in the tail. You can do that, but of course, you know, that it's a heavier airplane empty at the end of the day when you do, but it's doable. So yeah, that's really the limit, is just CG and just not getting too heavy on everything to make sure you still have plenty of useful load.
So you've been very good about sharing with us along the way, of course, building the hype as well.
Yeah.
But on social about what the numbers are, but just a quick kind of like summary of what you've seen so far with the 130 horsepower on this for climb out and testing cruise. Yeah, so with the short wing tips and not the right prop, we've seen about 1,400 feet per minute on climb out. Again, we're
primarily just flying it solo right now. We're experimental R&D, so we can fly a second pilot if they're mission critical, but we're mostly just solo right now. And in cruise, we're seeing at 2,800 RPM, we're indicating about 150. We're truing out at 160 at about 2,500 feet. We were able, because the engine's cooling so well, even though we're still in the break-in phase of the engine, we did do a brief, like 1 minute wide open level flight run, and we indicated 160, we trued out at 170 miles an hour. And so that's really good numbers. We're really happy with that. That's kind of really where we wanted to be. And I'm excited when we get the new prop for it. I'm sure we're going to see those go up a few miles an hour. And I think because this is so under-pitched, I think we're going to see climb improve a little bit too.
Really, at this point, it looks like you've kind of boxed in what the numbers are going to be for cruise. Any additional power is going to help your climb at this point.
It will, yeah. I mean, you know, it depends. You know, the gear-reduced engines tend to favor climb performance a little bit more than cruise performance. But you know, if you put the right prop on it, it'll still cruise fast too. So we could see all-around improvements. We could see even higher cruise speeds. You know, of course, then you got to start worrying about you know, where's the yellow arc and and that sort of thing. But that's no different than any of other models with more powerful engines.
Okay. Now, I want to ask the question that people have asked, but they're going to continue to ask, being this is a high wing and a tail dragger, and with the STOL craze going on. But this, just to clarify, this was not built to be STOL. This is built to be a high wing fast airplane.
So, you know, like we always want to do at Sonex, we want to be different and you know, go against the grain a little bit. And you know, right now the hot thing are all these STOL airplanes, and where we felt the missing component in the marketplace was high-wing kitbell airplanes that actually cruise fast and are aerobatic. So we wanted to basically make a Sonex that's a high wing, and that's basically what it is in a nutshell. And so it's not designed to be a STOL airplane. Definitely designed for grass strips. All of our airplanes, Sonex, YX, Xenos, 1X, they're all great off of grass, as this will be as well. I'm sure people will put bigger tires on them and all sorts of things, but that's, you know, it's experimental. The builder can do what they want. But the core design and of course the gear geometry for, you know, the proper, you know, the gear working properly is designed as it is.
All right, so jumping in the cockpit here, Mark, we covered this last year when you were showing the fuselage on as a rolling chassis, the ergonomics of the seating and so forth, but you actually kind of settled on some stick designs.
Yeah, so this was always the intent of the airplane. Even last year when you were here, we just didn't have the sticks installed. So we have a convertible stick. Obviously, for getting in and out of the airplane, the center stick is by far the easiest, especially if you are mobility challenged at all. You know, we're all getting older, so this is certainly the nicest and easiest way to get in and out of the airplane. If you're a traditionalist and you really want the stick between your legs, and you want two of them, or maybe just on your side, these sticks are all removable. So we have this screw-on arrangement here, and you can just pull the stick out and move it. So up on one flight you want it in the center, and the next flight you want it between your legs, or maybe you do appreciate being able to get in and out of the airplane with no stick there. You get in without the stick and you plug it in before you go fly.
Not recommended to do during flight.
Don't do it during flight, please.
Even with autopilot.
No, yeah, right, don't do that. You will need a little wrench to tighten it down. We'll probably laser cut or cut on the router a little stick wrench that you can keep in a pocket somewhere. Okay. But yeah, you quick disconnect the wires and you're good to go.
Nice. And you guys did two 10-inch or those 12s?
Two 10-inch displays. Okay. So this is the only Sonex panel that a 10-inch display will fit in.
Sweet.
And as you can see, they take up the entire panel. We have very little room left over for other stuff, but you have everything you need here.
And also looking at the cockpit here, we've probably covered this before, but you've got good solid rudder pedals and brakes, a lot of surface area to break down on.
Yeah, absolutely. So the brakes work extremely well. We're still using our Aero Conversions brake units on the wheels, and we use them with the slightly smaller diameter brake line like we do in our jets. So the brakes are actually very stiff and quite powerful, and they work really well.
So one of the things that you're talking about with doing this is to maintain the visibility. I'm not sure I can capture that here, but I will here in the near future.
Yeah.
Of you can still see over the nose even though this is a tail dragger.
Yeah.
And so good for taxiing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Sonexes are known for having good over-the-nose visibility as tail draggers go. It's still not as good as a tri-gear, of course, and gentle tail dragger handling capabilities. So Sonexes in general out there in the world, you don't hear about them ground looping, and that's because of our gear geometry and the way that the gear is set up.
All right, Mark, so kind of in closing, you know I'll get beat up on social if I don't ask you a price point and also the availability on this. I know that we talked off camera for a minute, and this has been hugely successful as far as popularity on social. What are you currently holding for deposits, if you can share with us? Or at least interest.
So we started taking pre-orders, if you will, in February. We call them kit reservation deposits, and those are $500 refundable deposits. And so far, through the course of time since February, we have 74 of those.
Wow!
So we're really happy with that.
That's a good number.
Just this week published pricing. And we're starting to convert those deposit holders into full orders. Yeah, so the price of what we call the complete airframe kit is $39,000. The quick build kit is $55,000. So like all of our quick builds, the quick build entails getting the fuselage and the wings already constructed and rigged to each other, and then we'll see what else the FAA lets us do when we get it audited for the quick build.
Is that something new for Sonex? Did you previously offer quick build kits as well, or is it new for the Highwing?
Yeah, we've always offered quick build. I shouldn't say always. We've been offering quick build kits for many years now. So you can buy a Sonex, YX, Xenos, 1X as a quick build. The Jet is only offered as a quick build. That's really what started our quick build program. And all of those kits through the FAA audit system are like 48% and change complete on the 51% rule checklist. So like those other kits, we'll have the National Kit Evaluation Team from the FAA come in and do the audit process on this, and we'll see maybe what we can add, what tasks we can also do for the builder. Maybe we'll install the windshield, for example, to take more tasks away from the builder and go right up to, you know, where we're allowed to for an amateur built airplane.
Another hot topic every year is Mosaic. I know everybody's building into their design, the design for Mosaic, which I assume you're doing the same. But what are you looking? What are your hopes and dreams for Mosaic for Sonex?
Yeah, well, this airplane was designed, or I should say, the design was expanded through the time that we've been designing it to take advantage of the new light sport regulations in Mosaic. This airplane is 1,500 pounds gross, so it's obviously more than 1,320 pounds. Stall speed is well within the proposed regulation. It's actually within the current regulation, actually, for the airplane, although we've only stalled it solo so far. So this will definitely fit within the proposed rules, even if they don't expand them at all. And hopefully this week, maybe we'll know what those final rules are, is what might be brewing. So we'll be waiting anxiously along with everyone else. But these airplanes, this prototype and the tricycle gear prototype that we're building next, we've made it a point to install ASTM certified engines in them, because when we do have a final rule in effect, we will be going through the compliance process so that we can offer ELSA kits. So if you want, you don't care about the 51% rule, you just want it as built as you can possibly get it, we can someday offer 51% kits. And of course we're leaving the door open to possibly producing the airplanes turnkey in the future.
Thanks for watching this episode on the Experimental Aircraft channel. Quick shout out to our patrons over on Patreon and our co-pilot status, Zach Newsom, Mike Babcock, Lynn Gardner, Gary Martin, Michael Smith. We'll see you in the next episode.